welcome back to the Man to Man podcast, the podcast for men. Hey, this week on the program, we have Joe the Bird Falcione. Because I think that's what that means.
Maybe.
It depends on which one you ask.
Okay.
Patrick's got one definition.
Sword fighting bird, whatever.
Sword fighting bird. Sword fighting bird.
Sounds like something from Monty Python.
Yeah.
And not only do we have Sweet Joe, we have if you recall, the Dr. Daniel, Dr. Atkins, the man with the smooth tones who leads us through God's word every week. Cheers to you, bro. And last but not least, we have the amazing, beautiful, the fit, and ready to get after it, Patrick, the Slim Reaper Dean.
And now that we're recording, I do need to bring this up. We got a guest that you need to meet. Joseph talked to him for a while yesterday. Emphasis on while, but
Yes.
Yeah, long while.
she just came for, what was it? Not PT school, but PA
PA school at Faulkner.
Faulkner.
She starts in 2 weeks.
And her
Yep.
mom, she said for 20-something years,
25, I think. Yeah,
taught
25
8th grade
Yep.
in Gulf Shores. And I was like, oh, buddy.
I
So
don't remember who my 8th grade.
she probably remembers you.
If I told you the last name, would that help trigger it?
Maybe.
Edgar?
No, not mine.
No? Okay.
But
don't
you know who she
don't
is?
remember her, but it ain't her.
You also got to remember that I've been out of high school for more than 20 years.
Oh, I knew
Right.
that.
So I was saying, I told Dan, I was like, I don't know.
I don't know, dude. Hey,
It might have been like year
like
one.
2 summers ago, all those ladies were down there playing mahjong one Monday, and I walked in to say hello, and sitting there was a woman that I swore, I was like, I know this lady. And she introduced herself. It was Ginger and Linda's cousin from Tuscaloosa, one of my 8th grade teachers, Miss Tidmore,
Yeah.
Cindy Tidmore. And she goes, "You're Atkins?" And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." And she goes, "Never thought you'd be a preacher."
Yeah.
And I was like,
Hey,
look at me now.
Yeah.
hey.
Look at me now.
Can't
So
judge
you
a
said
book
what?
by its cover.
Hey, lady. I did study eventually.
Exactly.
Eventually.
Yeah. I had one of those recently at the Eastwood parent orientation. My wife walks up to somebody that she was in nursing school with and had worked a little bit with and started talking to her, and just got a kid in Everly's class, and they just came to Eastwood. But like, so she's immediately like, "Oh, I know her. I'm going to go talk to her." And I look over and I'm like, "Man, she looks familiar." And then Ashley comes back. She's like, I'm like, "Who's that?" And it was Kristen. I was like, "All right, I'm pretty positive that I know who this is." And it was a girl that was a biscuit buncher
Oh, cool.
while I was Big Mo.
Yeah. Hey, look. Big Mo.
It always comes back to
It always does.
Always.
Bro, and we'll try to keep that off the air.
Yeah.
It's my stories from the
We got-
stories from chapel.
we got
I got another one from yesterday though.
Oh, man.
And if any of you guys are watching, it's just the Korean drum players. But anyway.
we got a tight window, so we're just going to jump on in. Joe, last week we got the Summer of George update from Doctor over here.
Yep.
And now it's your turn. Like summer is always an eventful time for everybody, so I want to get the updates and see, what's happened in our time off.
Yeah, it's very busy for student ministry usually. I mean, it was really great. We had many different events. We had our camp we went to. It was incredible. Many good conversations. We had our students serving in both kids camp and VBS week. All of our students doing that. We had regular Wednesday night stuff with a fun event every week. I have interns that I pour into the whole summer.
Yeah, so
That's the big thing.
I want to come back to the interns
Yep.
because one of the last episodes from last season,
Okay.
you talked about having 2 interns.
Yep.
And you had a goal for those 2 interns over the summer.
Yeah, I did.
How did that goal
It was
work out?
perfect. It worked.
Okay.
I think it did. And I've talked to both
Yeah.
of them about this. If they listened, they would know. We had the two Noahs and they're both so different in their personality. If you don't know them, you have Noah Graves loves like reading and like really deep thinking, and he would know, like he would be more comfortable sitting in an office reading, than going out and working a room, and then you have Noah Pruden, which is the exact opposite, right? And my goal was to get both of them. My goal was to get both of them closer to you can't change them completely, but to get Noah Graves work in the room and then Noah Pruden like read and like deep doctrine and things like that. And it did work. It really did. Mm-hmm. Them being around each other was the main thing, though. It really wasn't necessarily all that I did with them, but them just being together all summer for everything. They rubbed off on each other, and it really did work. And so,
Noah's going to college. Noah Graves. Pruden. Moving to Oklahoma
this Friday
to go to college.
Oh, quick turnaround.
He's moving away. Yep, he's going to OBU.
So he's actually enrolled in college.
Yeah, enrolled in college. He's going to get his undergrad there. And I think he's going to pursue missions through that. I don't know. There may be enough that he's talking with the church right now about potentially some part-time youth ministry work. Whether or not that works out, we'll see. But the win is that he ended the summer feeling like, he told me, I have an exit interview where I get like, hey, if you were to be in charge next year, what changes would you make? What did you love about this summer? Things like that. And at the end, he said, I really feel like I could go do this. Now that I know everything, but like I feel like from this summer I could leave and go do student ministry at a church. And I'm like, that's the win. That's amazing, And he also said, I know that wherever I go, I'm not going to realize how good I had it. Like how great Taylor Road is, with the resources we have and like the culture and the health of the church. He says, I know that wherever I go, I've been spoiled, And I said, but you got to go spread that to other people. That's why we train you and send you out. So, and then Graves, he's starting online through Spurgeon College this fall. So he'll be staying with us, staying on our residency program, serving with youth still, all that stuff. So he'll be around as well. It was a great summer. I pour in a lot of time into them just to build them up as they do ministry with our students, as they teach weekly and things like that. So, but great summer. It really was amazing.
Yeah. I know my girls commented that it was a bit of an adjustment for them to not have silly goof off, like actually in charge, need to be over and running things. Noah
it was different.
Yeah.
And I remember even during the exit interview, he told me, he said, I loved having to do that. Like I loved being forced to not be the goofy Noah and be responsible and be a leader. Like he loved doing Super Summer. We have a discipleship camp we do for students in our youth group. Not all of them, but those that want to go deeper. And our interns will lead that trip. Like that's their summer camp where they're the youth pastor. Like they're the leader of the group. And they had to work through problems with students. And they had a couple different scenarios they had to navigate. They called me obviously like, hey, how do we handle this? And I kind of walked, but they did it. Like they had to have uncomfortable conversations and do things that not all leaders have to do every trip. And I even told them, I said, the previous two interns didn't have to do this stuff. No. So you guys are addressing something unique, but they came back and they said, although I hate those things happen, I'm glad they did in the long run, that I got to experience that. And now I know I can handle it in the future.
What's funny about that? Not funny, I shouldn't say that. My daughter, Emma, on the last day of camp, had an incident with a young man from another church. Yep. And this young man said some very inappropriate things to my daughter and another girl with our group. Yep. And the camp director, who works for the State Board of Missions, called me that night. Like he was like, hey, we've got an issue. And he talked me through it. And he said, man, Noah and Noah are here with me. And he said they both want to find this kid and kill him.
He was great. Yeah.
He said especially
he was holding him back.
Especially the bigger Noah. And I was like, okay, talk them off the ledge. I was like, if you need to give them the phone, let me talk to them. Yeah. I was like, but here's what doesn't need to happen.
They were it was like Noah Pruden was like ready to go hunt him down. Like, he was so mad. And I was like, but it's that big brother energy coming out,
But they handled it so well.
Like, they did.
It was really well. I mean, I was very impressed with those two guys in a moment of uncomfortable leadership where you have a student who has been offended.
Yep.
And that's never happened to her before. And they are put in a situation that they've never had to handle before. Yeah. And they acted like men. And I told Danny Graves yesterday, he came to my evangelism class, and before he walked in, I grabbed him and I was like, I was going to write you a note, but I'm going to tell you face to face, your son's a man.
Yeah.
And like he is a protector. And I said, your daughter Abby would not leave my
She
daughter's
was there
side.
with him till late.
and
Yep. And even like afterwards, I loved with your daughter. She was getting mad because they
She
were
was.
so
Emma
protective.
wouldn't-
Even after that,
Emma
they were
was
just
like, he can-
around them,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Y'all can go away." And
She said, he
were
can
so-
leave me alone now, Dad.
Yeah.
But what's funny is on their way home, they stopped
Yeah.
at a curb market or something.
Uh-huh.
And Noah Pruden, bless him, he's got the biggest heart in the world. He told my Emma, because
Oh,
my
yeah.
Emma lives on fruit. Like, that's her love language.
Mm-hmm.
She loves fruit. And she complained the whole week that they didn't have any fruit at Super Summer.
Yep.
And she said, Dad, when we got to that curb market, she goes, Noah was like, the only way I know how to make this week better for you is he bought her a
A
watermelon.
full watermelon.
She had to ride all the way back
But
to
she
Montgomery.
was so happy about it. She was like-
it was holding a watermelon.
I helped her unloading. I gave it to Chris. Like, here's your daughter's watermelon, and she was like, "What?"
That's awesome.
But it was great. It really was.
I think one thing Joseph has left out that we might need to address
Oh gosh, it's focusing on me right now.
is
I was already going.
is at the beginning of this summer, right at the kickoff, he leaves his wife to go for a week away.
Oh yeah.
As
2 days.
moved
Yeah.
As
into
they're
a new
moving.
house. Yeah, how'd
Dude.
that go, Big Joe? I want
but
to hear about that.
We moved everything in before I left. Let me make sure that's cleared up. Everything was moved in. It just wasn't unpacked, right?
Yeah.
Like we moved in the Saturday before we left Monday morning.
All right.
No joke.
If you were at church yesterday, August the 9th, 2026, I gave marriage advice.
16th?
16.
16th, sorry.
Yeah.
16th. Don't ever call your wife a heifer. That's number one.
Right.
Number two, what that guy did. Get your wife pregnant. So
Pregnant, leave her with 2 kids.
and then
Two
say,
kids pregnant in a new house. Oh, not on.
gotta go to Snowbird.
Gotta go to Snowbird. Sorry.
Joseph is rafting and having his best life. And Carly is, God.
I don't know. Like,
But she really did want to be in that house
Sure.
rather than the other one
Yeah,
because she
sure.
had a backyard. She was able to it was still freaking hard,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
she was
sure,
very happy
sure,
about
sure.
it.
It worked out.
Sure,
She's still,
sure.
No, you're,
listen,
yeah.
the fact that you had everything there, like I know the boxes, nothing unpacked, and those things, and somebody who's moved a lot in their lives, like we've talked about this, like it's really easy to get agitated with people and something's not. So like creating ground rules, one that Ashley and I always had was the only expectation is to unpack 1 box a day.
Mhm.
And it's like, if somebody decides to do more because they're just feeling it, they're feeling good, fine. But we don't get mad at either one because they're like, that's my box, I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
I need the rest of this day. And it's amazing how quickly it'll all work out when you do that.
Yep.
Worked for us anyway, so that's one of those suggestions. I've got another one that's pretty similar. So Hazley was born on February 2nd. First kid. I started a new job 2 hours away on February 14th. Yeah. So at that job, right, not only was I commuting to Tuscaloosa for 3 months, that job I also drove all around the state anyway. So I would drive to Tuscaloosa and leave at like 5:30 in the morning, try to get home at 6:30 if I could. But then on the days that I wasn't going to the office, I was getting up at like 4, driving, to random Podunk County seat.
Mm-hmm.
And then same thing, working all day in a courthouse and then driving back home. Long days with a newborn wife. That's probably one of those that avoid at all cost if you can.
But you survived.
No, absolutely.
And you were just doing what you had to do.
That's it. That's all
Sometimes
part
as
of it.
men, we
Be
gotta
a
just
man.
That's
We
Gotta
just
do
gotta
what
do
you
what we
gotta
gotta do,
Be
Yeah.
a man. Leave your wife.
go to camp.
leave your wife.
Go base jumping with a bunch
that-
of teenagers.
So you said be a man, leave your wife. And if for anybody who went through the week one and actually did everything, did all the readings, I actually did the weekend challenge, right? The 30 minutes walks. One of them was a run, but it incorporated 30 minutes of walking. And listened to most of the Where Have All the Good Men Gone sermon by Joby Martin. he talks about this. He spent some time in Genesis, but he says, you know, the verse there is, "Don't listen to your wife."
Well,
and it's part of the
Well.
curse, like your wife's voice. Like, don't listen to your wife.
Samson's wife. I don't
I
care if
mean-
you're
Yeah.
a Philistine or a Israelite. They nag.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But there is, like, you know, there is the funny play on Matt's "Don't just leave your wife," but there is some leadership responsibilities that are uncomfortable, right? And that includes leading your house. I love that we had interns who are 19, 20 years old
Mm-hmm.
that acted like men.
Yep.
Yes.
Right? I think you summed it up great. That had the protective instinct,
Mhm.
right? I want the man to at least have that passion of, I'm going to kill somebody,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I want them to have the cool head that prevails
Mm-hmm.
to go, nope, there's a right way to handle this. We're going to handle this the correct way. But you need that fiery protective instinct
Mm-hmm.
that translates down the road. And I also applaud you for, this is something that I start young with our kids and encourage all along the way, is teaching kids to have the difficult conversations with particularly a power dynamic in play is even better. Like, no, you go talk to your teacher. No, you go
Mhm.
talk to your coach.
Yep.
Because, right, I don't know about y'all. I came in with up in a generation where that wasn't necessarily pushed and encouraged in my house. So the first time you actually have to go sent away and you're on your own, you need to have one of those conversations. You're like, I don't know what to do. I'm supposed to, you know. And then you don't know how to handle having a conversation in a power dynamic
Mm-hmm.
where you don't.
Yeah, you have no authority.
You're going to challenge or have a difficult conversation with somebody in authority, and that's you just need to practice and realize that the end result of those conversations is probably not what you have built up in your head going on. But
It typically doesn't. That's a good point. It typically doesn't end the way that you've hyped yourself up into thinking it's going to end. You know, it's like, oh, that didn't go as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But yet I'm still as full of anxiety every time it happens.
this is, I mean, you talked about it last week with your summer, you know, going to your retreat at the Cove, and one of my big things that just jumped out to me in this week's readings is like, it's never what you think it is. Like, you're not the only one that struggled with this. You're not the only one trying to get over these things. You're not the only one that sins, right? You're not the. It's never just you, and it's never as bad as you think it is,
Mm-hmm.
because people generally are more human, right? They also understand those situations. But at the end of the day, the real message is, right, we have a Savior that paid it all. So the story has been written, the redemption has been paid for. You just acknowledge it, repent of it, move on.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. We talked about this yesterday, and I try to keep most of it kind of not a secret, but not talking publicly about it. But in baseball chapel, yesterday's chapel text was Genesis 39, and the story of Joseph, right? And the guy who is the father's favorite, who is showered with gifts from his dad, and everybody knows he's the favorite. And he goes from basically sitting at the right hand of his father and eating, you know, getting spoiled, to then being thrown in a pit and sold into slavery, then being elevated to a high position in Potiphar's house, then being falsely accused of rape when he was a man of integrity, to then going into prison. And what's fascinating about that, and we talked about this in chapel, was, first of all, the phrase is repeated in that chapter 39, the Lord was with Joseph. The Lord was with Joseph. And then specifically when he gets thrown in prison, the Lord and his steadfast love were with Joseph. And what we talked about yesterday was, this blows some myths that I think Christians, especially, some lies that we've believed. First of all, that if I always do the right thing and I'm always obedient to the Lord, everything in my life is going to be great. But no, Joseph he says to the wife, How could I sin against God?
Yeah.
This is a man of integrity. He's alone with a woman. We all know male instinct and sexual drive and sexual desire. I don't, it's not about how good looking she was or anything like that. Like, it has nothing to do with it.
He's
but
probably a full-fledged teenager, too.
he probably
right?
is.
So, like,
His hormones are
testosterone
raging.
is the only thing
Right.
making decisions.
And he didn't say, well, maybe I could get away with this. Or obviously she wants me, so we'll keep this a secret between us or whatever. It was his first instinct was not any of that. Or even like, I shouldn't do this to Potiphar or I may go to prison. It was, I can't sin against God.
Mm-hmm.
And that really taught me, like, we tend to think about, I shouldn't do this because of the consequences, instead of, I shouldn't do this because I'm sinning before
Wow, that's
holy
a great
God.
point.
But
Yeah.
the lies that we've believed are,
Yeah.
if I do everything right, you're still going to get people to lie about you.
Mm-hmm.
You're still going to get people to, whatever. And the second thing is, the circumstances of my life are not always indicative of God's love for me. In prison, God's faithful, steadfast love was with him, where he had every right to go, God obviously forgot about me. I'm in prison. I've done everything right. And so when we talk about, integrity and we talk about character as men, that means I am doing the right thing no matter if the consequences are good or bad.
Yeah.
Because it's before God.
Well, and I'm going to chase that rabbit just a little bit further, because that's the other thing that we hear all the time beyond just the prosperity gospel is God will never put you through something you can't handle.
Yeah.
And it's like, tell that to the apostles.
Job.
I mean, murdered, exiled, beheaded,
Yeah.
crucified, right? I don't know what y'all consider not being able to handle, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they can handle that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The point is that expression still puts us as the primary.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And it's just wrong.
Look, and I sent y'all a clip.
God's not going to put you through anything that's not going to ultimately glorify him.
That's right. And I sent y'all the clip the other day of that Tim Keller, Alistair Begg quote,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
right? Nothing good that you do today is going to bring you any closer to God, and nothing bad that you do is going to drive you further away from God. If you're in Christ, you are in Christ.
Yep.
Now, it does hurt our fellowship, but
Yep.
positionally speaking,
Yeah.
you are accepted. And, it's beautiful.
So one of the focuses from this week's set of verses was really just sort of breaking into what the overall 16:13 verse is. And I love that they actually bring back in the context of this, it's not just 16:13, but it's also 16:14, because there's a dynamic between those two verses. One is the character for which you are what you're supposed to do, and then the other one is how you're supposed to do it, right? In love, you do all of these things, and we can't separate those. But it was on Tuesday's verses that were Ephesians 6:10 through 12. And I don't know why these verses jumped out to me and got me, but I've just reflected on it over and over again this week, because it's something that Matt brought up at the beginning of the season last year with shame. And, part of this is be watchful. What are we being watchful for? What are we standing guard against? You have all these verses that are, right, that temptation's at the door, right? There's a prowling lion trying to devour you. And I think it's one thing to go, all right, I watch out for the big things, but the real problem is that the damage that sin does psychologically to that fellowship. Because when you start sinning, I've never met anybody who doesn't start going through this downward spiral of pulling away from God. Right? You get into
hiding in the bushes.
Yeah, like exactly, right? You start pulling away because you are ashamed of how you're living and what you're doing. And yes, you have redemption. Yes, you can go and confess that and move forward, and that's part of the message there. But it's extremely hard to do. And that's why you've got to be watchful, is because not only do we not want to cheapen the grace of Jesus, but like it will ruin you. And it'll ruin your walk because you're just going to run away and you're going to hide away. And then when you separate yourself from God and you separate yourself from the church to hold you accountable, to bring you back, to fill you up, then it just starts to go, oh, well, I've already done this. No, so what's the big deal if I do some more?
And I think it's because we don't, whatever sin it is, you never go headlong right out of the gate. It's always that gradual slide. And I think it's this gradual little compromise along the way. You know, Christy and I were talking with some friends of ours who have a daughter that just went to college, and, you know, talking about even our kids. I mean, we've got one that's 2 years from graduating, and we were talking about just all the temptations. And again, like, when you talk about kids, teenagers, and underage drinking and all that kind of stuff and the pressures that they're going to feel. And Christy is so wise, man. And she said, you know, we've all been there. That you go to these, you know, you get to college, you go to these parties, and you're surrounded by things that, sure, maybe you had some exposure to in high school here and there, but now this is on a regular. And nobody's there to hold you accountable. Mom and dad aren't there. And it's just easy to start going to those things. And then you just maybe hold the drink. And that just gets comfortable. And then you take a sip. And she said, once you've crossed that line, it's hard to come back. And it can spiral. And I was like, that's a great, I mean, that's true of anything. I'm just going to look real quick. And then it's, well, I'm going to look again. And then it becomes a habit or whatever it may be in your life. And in what she said, though, it just struck me. When you cross that line of compromise, it's a slide downward, and it's hard to stop. And I think it's because we don't understand, like you talked about, the danger of sin. Like, we'd rather look at it as something that we've got control over instead of, this is a lion looking to eat me, devour me.
Joby talks about it in this sermon that he puts forward, where he says, like, he jokes, but he's like, you know, I don't meet too many modern day Christians that sin. Like, they all just struggle. Struggle. I'm struggling. It's like, no, you're sinning.
You're sinning. Yeah. Yeah.
Great point.
And I was like, golly.
Yeah.
So
I'm
real.
struggling with my anger. No.
Yeah, no.
I was listening.
I'm sinning. So it just goes back to our mindset. Like, we'll do anything we can to avoid calling it what it is.
Yeah. I made a mistake. No, a mistake is when you do an error. You have an error unintentionally. Like, you intentionally sinned. You know, there's like a very well-known therapist, and I can't remember his name, but he's viral. People call in, and he's on social media all the time. Anyway, there was a woman that called into a show, and she was like, I've been married to my husband for 7 years, but I started flirting with this guy at work. And it was at first just this casual affair, just sex, no emotion. But she said, now I've really gotten emotions for him, and I love him, and I love my husband. She said, I don't know what to do. I love my husband, and I love this guy. And he interrupts her, and he goes, first of all, you know what to do. Second of all, you don't love your husband.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And she kind of stops, and she's like, well, I do love both men. He goes, no, you've cheated on your husband.
Yeah.
You do not love your husband. You love the idea of your husband.
You don't even love that. Yeah, at this point, like, he's such a good person that you don't want to hurt him.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. But that just made me, like, think about what you just said. You know, like, why are we not just calling a spade anymore? You know? Oh, man, I stumbled. You walked right into that trap.
Yeah.
Joseph, right? Not you, but
I mean,
we
me
see
too.
that in the
Me too.
scriptures. No, but I mean,
Yep.
like, he flees, literally leaves his garment in her hands,
Yeah.
and
No one around in that story.
nobody around.
Just
That's
him and her.
integrity. Yeah, and that's and one of the things that I told those guys was, your reputation is what everybody else thinks about you. Your integrity is what God sees, and
Yep,
what
that's
nobody
great.
else sees, but what God
I like
sees.
that. Integrity is like the reputation before God. That's
Yeah.
what it is. I love that. Wow.
Yep.
Matt, you haven't made a camera appearance yet.
No,
I don't know that he could figure out how to get that camera on.
Oh,
him.
we're kind of.
He can figure out how to get it around. He just couldn't get it back.
Yeah. I can lose control of it, but
You got anything to add from this week's?
I'll try to make it quick. But Daniel's sermon yesterday, I didn't really get to follow along because some
Why?
tech issues we were having, and but
there were tech issues yesterday?
yeah, believe it or not,
We
I
paid
know.
way too much money to have that stuff.
For
But
sure.
anyway, go ahead.
But I did listen to the sermon yesterday afternoon.
I'm going to jump in real quick. No, we paid the money so that it could be resolved that quickly.
Yes,
Because of Carson.
Exactly.
right. Thank you, Carson.
Thank you, Carson.
But Daniel, you talked about callousness.
Yeah.
And becoming callous to, and I was thinking to myself, like, what is, like, in my life, like, what am I thinking about when I think about a callus? What's a callus? And I thought about, when I play guitar, I love playing guitar, but when I play guitar often, I build calluses on my fingers,
Mm-hmm.
right? And what do those calluses enable me to do? Play
more guitar.
more guitar.
Mhm.
But how so? Without pain.
You don't feel it.
You don't feel it.
Mhm.
You don't feel it. There's some pressure, and you can control it. But when you become callous to sin, you quit feeling it.
Mhm.
You quit feeling the weight of it.
Mm.
You quit feeling, a lot of the effects of it because you've become numb to it. You become comfortable with it. And man, I loved that message yesterday. It was great.
Yeah.
It was
Thanks,
great.
man.
Yeah, go back and listen to it.
I think that's so real because it's the inverse is true too. If you start to address sin in your life, you're only going to get revealed more sin in your life.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's been hard about just getting closer to Jesus.
Yeah.
Is like realizing, oh no, there's just layers
Oh yeah,
of
it's-
sinfulness in me.
Mm.
Yeah, layers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not onion either. I mean, like, yeah, way deeper than that. a lot of layers.
Well, I appreciate that word. Yeah, one of the last thing I'll add because I know we got to wrap up, but the reminder in it was chapter 14, 15,
Samson?
Yeah.
Judges? Yeah, 14.
14 yesterday. That's what the reminder that God is going to use even your sinfulness for His purposes.
I struggled with that this week. Me and Joseph had many conversations
did.
on
Yeah. How are you going to
how to
tackle
frame that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what you said about it, but in the men's life group we were talking about it, and I just kept going back to it, and it was that same wrestling with it, and then I was like, I mean, my mind's immediately like these poor random 30 dudes, like, but it's like God said at the beginning, like He had a plan. He's fed up with the Philistines, and He had a plan, and the way He goes about it to make it work is
God
just a powerful
bends it.
thing. But hey,
I
you
mean,
don't think God's in control?
the timing of the Spirit of the
Breathe
Lord
the
rushing
scripture.
on Samson in that story every time, like when he goes to get the clothes,
Yeah,
like he wrongs the guys. The Spirit of the Lord rushes on him, and then he goes and gets the clothes for them.
Yeah.
And because the Spirit of the Lord empowers him to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait,
There's
like,
way
you know,
more there.
There's
Oh,
so
it's
much
so
there, right?
much. That's what I was saying. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
It was. I was reflecting on it this morning personally, and it was just like, I was like, oh man, like, God can use anybody. Like, God's plan is gonna just happen.
Mm.
Like, I'm so sinful, and in the moments that I'm sinful, God's gonna still get His way. Like nothing. It reminds me like the Jonah story. Like God's like Jonah just
Yeah.
like God's you're gonna go to Nineveh. Like, and I'm gonna even through these means too. Like He's gonna do it. Like. It's just
So
I don't know.
this came up yet. Is Samson a hero of the Bible?
He's
According
in the
to-
Hall of
according to-
Faith,
Yeah.
but so is Gideon.
So is
And so is
Jephthah. So is
Barak.
Jephthah the brutish gang leader,
So I would.
the Hall of Faith.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call him a hero.
Yeah, I wouldn't
but-
tell
But
him which hero.
okay, yeah, like all right, he like so many of them, he does some miraculous faith in the end that we go, like we can point to it. But we were talking about it. I was like when you tell the story of Samson in, the children's wing.
No, it is usually portrayed like a hero, right?
Like, oh, he's got this great
and
strength
he's
given
doing these
by
things,
God, but like
you
you just
highlighted, he's
ignore.
not leading people. Like Samson's supposed to be the end of the judges.
Yeah, no, he's
which
leading
is the the furthest down the spiral, right? Like
He's leading everybody to sin. Every
Yeah.
time he sins, he forces somebody else to
And
sin
that's
with
the-
him.
But that's also the thing is Samson's life, more than any of the other judges, is a mirror
Yeah.
of Israel.
yes, yep,
Because Israel was chosen and set apart by God. Israel got in all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna that's how I'm gonna end the Samson's
Listen,
life.
yeah,
Is go Israel, Samson, Jesus.
yep.
And anyway,
What
look,
you're doing with Samson and prophetic revelation and the ties to Scripture, like the first John segment yesterday. Bravo.
thanks.
It was good.
Appreciate that. I didn't
Yeah.
even need AI to do that.
It was good.
There you have it, guys. Come back next week. Get into it. If you don't have the weekly Bible study, reach out to us. We'll get you a copy of it. But follow along with us each and every week. Monday, week 2.